audience. We're glad you're joining us. We are here on a bit of a frosty morning at last. Finally, it's gotten cold in the Pacific Northwest. Very grateful for that, believe it or not. It's my practice to offer a gratitude, and I wanted to just spend a moment thinking about the land that this beautiful center is on, and the vision that brought this land to us from our founders, Bob and Colleen McGilchrist. But beyond that, the land was here always, and I'm grateful for all the people who have tended this land and stewarded this land and walked this land, and grateful to be part of that flow. Right now, I'd like to send you over to our wonderful band for some beautiful music.
Well, good morning, everyone. Why don't you stand with us if you're here in person, and hello out there. We're going to sing Staying on Spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind staying on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind staying on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind staying on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You can't blame your neighbor with your mind staying on spirit. Oh no, you can't blame your neighbor with your mind staying on spirit. You can't blame your neighbor with your mind staying on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. Oh, yes, I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. One more time, sing it out. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, good morning, and take a minute to greet one of those neighbors out there. If you're on social media, say who you are and where you're from. Thanks for being here today. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kalish Leviel, your practitioner for the day, and I want to welcome you to CSL Bellingham charging station right here in sunny paradise. Beautiful. Anyhow, this is where we recharge ourselves and remember that we're magnificent spiritual beings. So know with me that spiritual magnificence of yourself, that spiritual magnificence of myself, the wonder of it all, the awe of it all, right here, right now, in this room, and beyond, wherever we are being seen, and whether we're not being seen, we are here. We are present, and we are open to the messages that come our way today. And we thank you, sweet Spirit, knowing that this is all good, and so it is.
Take comfort as I am. Surrender all need for a plan. Divine presence is always at hand. Take comfort as I am. Take comfort. Take comfort as I am. Surrender all need for a plan. Divine presence is always at hand. Take comfort as I am. Let's sing, take comfort. Take comfort as I am. Surrender all need for a plan. Divine presence is always at hand. Take comfort as I am. I know there's only one moving me to be untethered, undone. I accept this love healing, breathing me whole, and give thanks for it. It is done. Take comfort as I am. Surrender all need for a plan. Divine presence is always at hand. Take comfort as I am. I know there's only one moving me to be untethered, undone. is done, and give thanks for it is done. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Let's sing that together. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Let's sing that one more time. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. Wide-eyed and mystified. Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. One more time, wide-eyed. Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. May I never lose my wonder. 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 May we never lose. May we never lose our wonder. May we never lose our wonder. May we never lose our wonder. May we never lose our wonder.
They can't help it. They need to clap. Welcome again, everyone. So I had a really, I was going to say extraordinary, but I'm not entirely certain that that's the right word. So I'm going to use the word mysterious thing happened. Um, I've been having cataract surgery. So I had the second eye done Thursday. And that same day, I had heard from someone in my extended family that someone I care a lot about was suicidal. And I was trying to rest, because I just had surgery. So I was laying down and I thought, I would never forgive myself if I did not reach out, despite what's going on with my whole deal here, and at least let this person know how much I care about them. Well, this person is extended family, and so the only phone number I had, it turns out, I didn't know at the time, was no longer operating. So I texted on that number. And the mysterious thing is, it went through. And the person on the other end of that text wrote back and said, my phone has been gone for a long time. I can't believe this is happening. I'm going to take this as a sign. And I wrote back, because I thought, all right, if the channel's open, the channel's open. And I said, you matter. And that started a whole chain of different things that happened. The reason I'm bringing that story is, first of all, I had prayed right before that this person had everything and anything they needed for resources so that they did not have to make a long-term decision about a short-term problem, And so it's not extraordinary that Spirit would step in and sort of make something happen. But what I think captures me the most about that story is the mystery part. Because it reminded me once again, and I'm here to remind you today, that we are living in an absolute mystery. And we've been in this mystery the whole time we arrived on the planet. But like so many sacred humans, if you're like me, I fall asleep to that understanding. I go into some sort of odd, mundane trance, and I forget that there is this incredible thing going on all the time, call it what you will, that surrounds me, embodies me, and is moving in the world. And so I brought you the essay that started the whole chain of this year's yearly theme, On the Brink of Everything, and all of the monthly themes that have come out of that. And it was written by a young woman named Courtney Martin, who is good friends with an elder named Parker J. Palmer. And Parker actually talked about this essay as being a catalyst for him to put together this book, On the Brink of Everything. So I thought you might like to hear this very short essay that Courtney wrote. My daughter is on the brink of everything. She's just started walking. She toddles toward the waist-high wooden gate near our home and opens it. She walks a few steps out, visibly bouncing with the delight of freedom, then quickly swivels around to make sure I'm following. She's also just started talking. She looked up at the moon on Sunday and pointed. I said, moon, not expecting anything. And then she said, moon, like it was the most natural thing in the world. She's just starting to use a spoon all on her own. Last night she scooped haphazard little bits of cottage cheese into her mouth and then clapped for herself between each and every bite. I'm learning so much from watching her, about being proud, about noticing, about all the senses that I take for granted. She was in the bathtub the other day, splashing around, when all of a sudden she froze, brought one tiny pointer finger to her lips and said, dog. And amid all the urban chaos, she heard her favorite creature, a dog, making itself known somewhere in the neighborhood. She makes me feel like I'm probably accessing only a quarter of the sensory experience available to me on a regular basis. I'm also learning about awe. The other day, I brought her over to this obscenely beautiful jasmine vine that had grown bushy and fragrant near our mailboxes. I picked her up and we put our noses right up to the petite white flowers and took in the scent. Then I set her down and she immediately walked over to a jade plant that some neighbors and I had recently migrated to a bigger pot, leaned over and took a big, satisfied whiff of it. Jade plants, as you know, are not fragrant. And yet, if you'd seen her there, neck craned, eyes closed, you would have assumed that she was smelling the most potent thing in the world. Maybe she doesn't really get what smell is yet, but after I let out a surprised giggle, I realized that there was something so moving about a little human smelling a jade plant. She has no reason not to expect it to smell wonderful. She has no reason not to expect everything to be wonderful. Another great essay. And so my topic today is awe and splendor as spiritual practice. And I think one of the things that I'm very aware of on my journey on the spiritual path is that one of the absolute essential things when opening to a spiritual life is experiencing the incredible mystery, the numinous with the ordinary, and learning how to hold awareness of both at the same time. The incredible presence of the play of consciousness and your social security number, both at the same time. That's the challenge for sacred humans. And because so many of us walk around in a worldly trance, we tend to think that the social security number is the most important thing to remember. Not that it isn't. That's the interesting part. It is. If you want to navigate in our world, you've got to know stuff like that. But we forget the other, the numinous, the mysterious. And how do we forget that? We forget by going unconscious. So there was an experiment that people at NYU were doing, and they decided to just see what would happen if they put a world-class violinist, Joshua Bell, in the metro with a, I don't know how old, 300-year-old Stradivarius in the subway, flip open the case to receive coins, and have this world-class violinist play to the crowds that were moving in and out of that subway station. And you know the only people who stopped? Children. I think he got about $17 that day. Everyone else had somewhere to be and somewhere to go and couldn't be bothered to listen to the incredible Bach that was being played in that subway. And I wish I could say that that was not what I do. How about you? But too often, I'm very directed. I have things to do and places to go and people to talk to, and I don't hold the other piece that I've been gifted very well. And so to really walk in a spiritual life, we have to begin to train ourselves. Square gardens. Doesn't that sound funny? Started me laughing right away because, boxers and dog shows and the Dalai Lama. So, of course, they set it all up. He's under high security. All of his monks are there in their robes and their big hats, and they've got the long trumpets that they're blowing and the huge cymbals that they're clashing. And, there's a big hoopla, and they're doing their multi-vocal thing. Blah, 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 blah. And everybody's just soaking it up. And they've made like a throne for him on the stage, and so they've got like oriental carpets, and then they decided to put a couple mattresses down and then cover that with another silk thing. And so finally, in this hoopla, out comes the Dalai Lama, and he walks up to the throne and he sits down and he bounces
And he gets this big childlike smile on his face, and he bounces again. And then he starts really bouncing. And the whole audience cracks up. And what I love about that story is that, here in the midst is this ability to play, to be present to something delightful, to be absolutely awake and aware enough to not miss the moment of joy that presented itself right there in Madison Square Gardens. So when I think about that, I think about, well, how do we do that? How do we hone our skill for awe and splendor and make it a spiritual practice? How do we open to joy more fully? And maybe a more important question that you might be asking yourself is, well, why is that important? Well, I don't know how you've been feeling, but I know that this world is sometimes very difficult for some of us, sometimes all of us, and that it hasn't been the easiest road these last couple years, has it? And so for me, the reason that I do spiritual practices, and particularly these, is they are nourishment. They're nourishment to my soul. They're that which feeds that part that holds me strongly in love and compassion, that keeps my heart open. And so spiritual practice, there's all kinds. But this particular one, the practice of awe and splendor and seeing it and noticing it and being available to it, is a particularly powerful one to be practicing right now. If you're having a difficult time, anytime, right now. So how do we do that? Well, Wayne Dyer actually had a practice, but he offered it to us that I think works well. It's not exactly how I learned it, but it works really well. So here's one way to open to the spiritual life in awe and splendor as a spiritual practice, is to actually give yourself 5 minutes a day to contemplate awe in everything that you see and experience. Everything you see around you, go outside, turn your attention to the many miracles that are all around you, and just for 5 minutes stand in that a day. 5 minutes a day. This regimen, he says, of appreciation and gratitude will help you to focus your life in awe, which, of course, remember, feeds the soul, the spirit that you are. So that sounds easy, right? 5 minutes, right? I could set a timer right now and we could just do that, right? We could do that together. But can you do it alone? See, I've recently also been having PT, physical therapy. How many of you have had physical therapy? Right? A lot of us. And of course, every time you go to a physical therapist, what they do is they teach you these things and they say, okay, do this 3 times a day for 10 minutes. And when you're with that physical therapist, you say to yourself, of course I'll do that. My life depends on this. My happiness, my bodily comfort depends on this. Of course I'll do that. And about 3 days in, you forget. Well, okay, I forget. How about you? So Wayne Dyer's practice of 5 minutes a day doesn't sound too hard. But having recently done PT, I know what I'm saying to you. I know that it might get hard, or you might forget, or the worldly trance might actually take you away from this regimen. So what else can we do? Well, since sacred humans have this habit of forgetting and then remembering, we can cut ourselves some slack when we forget, because what will happen is we'll forget, and we won't even know we've forgotten until we remember, right? And so as soon as we remember, we feel bad. So don't do that, okay? Just don't do that. Just do the regimen. That's what I do with PT now. I forget, and then I go, I forgot again. And instead of making myself bad, I just, right then and there, stop what I'm doing and do the exercises. You can do this too. See, the loss of real attention, I believe, is actually the root of all of societal ills everything, everything. Continued racism, the destruction of the planet globally, environmentally, challenges between people, wars, suffering, poverty. I actually believe that at the root of all of that is a profound lack of real attention. And so when we can bring ourselves and begin to practice paying attention, being present, we open to a different realm that's already going on for us around here, but we just haven't been present for it. And in this case, unlike the casinos, you have to be present to win, right? You do. So the other way that I think you might also value, I certainly do, is we live, for those of you in the virtual audience, I hope you also live in a place that we live in, which is an incredible natural world. We're so fortunate. We're so fortunate to have the forests and the lakes and the rivers and the streams, even when they flood, I know. But we're fortunate because we're surrounded on all sides by nature. And this is an opportunity to practice the spiritual practice of awe and splendor as well. So I brought you my favorite, Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I know I have to translate a little because this is very antique language. I had to look up words. I'm going to skip some. But this is Emerson lived on the outskirts of a village in lowlands, he said. But every day he would walk out into nature. And so this is what he said. It seems as if the day was not wholly profane, in which we have given heed to some natural object. The fall of snowflakes in the still air, preserving to each crystal its perfect form, the blowing of sleet over a wide sheet of water and over plains, the waving rye field, the reflection of trees and flowers in glassy lakes, the musical, streaming, odorous south wind, which converts all trees to wind harps, the crackling and spurting of hemlock in the flames, and faces in the sitting room. These are the magic and the pictures of the most ancient religion, nature. So we have before us an opportunity to be like Courtney Martin's 16-month-old and to begin to encounter the world anew, particularly the natural world, but any place will do. Because when we turn our attention and open our gaze to include the numinous, the mysterious, the miraculous, it's there waiting for us. And as we imbibe in it, we are nourished and become nourishment to others. I could go on, and I will next time I speak. But right now, I'd like to invite you into a prayer. Taking the time now to open the inner gaze and go into the heart and the mind that has already entered a spiritual path. You wouldn't be here listening if you hadn't. And so we celebrate walking this path together. Oh, we have different ways. We have different practices. And we support each other along the way because we know that the spiritual path is long and winding, and we need each other as we walk. What I know, what I knew for my friend, what I know for you, what I know for myself, is that there is a mysterious something, call it what you will, that is vast and powerful and intelligent and love. It has absolutely no limit and knows no limit in any sacred human. It knows only its divine, mysterious self through us, in us, and provides and provides and provides whatever is needed when asked. And so for you, I ask that you have whatever it is you need in this day and moving along this path you're walking. Money, friends, resources of other kinds, inspiration, insight. I don't know what you need, but I do know that in this simple asking, if you say yes in your heart, you will receive. The phone call to a dead cell phone will go through. You will receive what you need, as will I. And so, in the mystery that is surrounding us and through us, in the quantum field that holds all possibility, I know each of us in our own way has exactly what we need in this very moment. Not only do we have it, but we know we have it. We are awake and ready to receive. For this awakened state, for the wide lens of seeing and valuing and being awestruck by what we are and what surrounds us, I give thanks. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm going to invite the ushers to prepare for the offertory, and I'm going to invite you to do that too. Thank you for coming, and if you have the ability to give a donation to the center, we deeply appreciate that. And we're going to have some wonderful music while that's happening from our band. Oh.
Cat-like reflexes. Gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. Leave behind what's weighing me down, wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling, face forward, feet on the ground, living in this courage I found. The sky is calling, gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. Leave behind what's weighing you down, leave behind what's weighing me down, wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling, face forward, feet on the ground, living in this courage I found. The sky is calling, gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time.
Love that. Well, this is the last day of our Giving Intention program, and I've invited one of my adjunct board members and a friend to come and talk to you a little bit about why she gives to the center and why she loves it. So come on up, Christine Griffin. Robin's helping. This will be fun.
Hi. We have a little surprise for you, and we haven't practiced it, so we just wanted to confer for a second. Anyway, so hello and thank you for the opportunity to share how much I care for the center and an opportunity to actually get dressed. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christine Griffin, and my husband Steve and I started coming to this center with our kids probably about 16 years ago. And my husband Steve was a teacher in the children's program for many years. You probably know him. He's tall, gray hair, wears glasses. And I've been an usher for a long time. And as Andrea said, I just joined the board as adjunct. So, and also our family is an evergreen member of the Giving Intention program, which means that my donation is, automatically renewed every year. I don't have to fill out the form. There might be an email that says, do you want to do this? Yes. It's very simple. So in my work life, some of you may not know, I worked in the nonprofit sector for about 15 years now. And my current roles now are program coordinator, and I've been serving as our organization's board president for 3 years. And what we do in the state is to provide support to families whose children are deaf or hard of hearing. So, one of the outcomes, a lot of things in the nonprofit world, we talk about outcomes. So one of the outcomes of for me, attending services and classes and workshops and connecting with all of you in general is learning ways to develop and increase my capacity to serve the community as a leader. When I first started coming here, there was a term, the term leader or the role leader meant one thing, not me. And at times I still struggle with that. I mean, anybody, especially when you're doing something new. And just last month we talked a lot about that, or Andrea talked a lot about that. And last week, Dr. Andrea said, we use our spiritual practice and service to the larger community and the world to benefit all beings. And that's what I want to talk about for a second. When I came here, I think I cried for 2 years, not out of sadness, but it was a breaking through, an understanding of how I lived in the world and how I connected with the world. And so I wanted to be able to connect not out of lack, but out of living fully. So when I realized this, I remember even, I was in a class and Ronna Biggs was here, and I said, that's what I want to do. I want to infuse this out there. And that's been my work ever since. So let's see here. I wanted, as I said, I wanted to infuse that philosophy, the ideas. I wanted to be able to live fully and again, not live out of fear or lack. So when I realized this, I started doing like what I do all the time and just wanting to be for something and not against. I didn't want to be against myself. And so whatever that means for you, that meaning that comes to you when you keep coming back, either virtually or in person. So I keep coming back to be reminded of how to do this authentically and with integrity, to be in a place where I'm practicing with all of you on this journey, and to be reminded, both in my work and in my play, that we are spiritual beings trying to live a full life. So that's why I love CSL and all of you. And I did prepare one little thing here. Let's see here, hang on.
Need help?
Okay, so 12 reasons, the top 12 reasons why I give or love CSL Bellingham. So again, we haven't practiced this. Rowan's going to help me here. So number 12, and this really is in no priority. So number 12, to be for something rather than against something. Okay.
That's good.
That's good. Maybe just one boom. I might have to start tap dancing. So support, knowing that I have community of incredible, amazing fellow travelers to receive and provide care and love. Okay, there we go. Our volunteer teams. The music team, the sound team, the facilities, the marketing, ushers, greeters, community outreach, welcome team, when we have them, coffee connections, and our bookstore. We hope they come back soon. And our children's program. Okay, there we go. An awareness that I have the power to shift, change, evolve my outer experience. A welcoming community and defining what it means to welcome a diverse community. There we go. Dr. Andrea and Joe Asebedo. Woo!
And one for Joe, too.
Yeah. There we go. To be a companion on a spiritual journey. Access to community, to classes, to workshops, both in person and virtually. Boom. Opportunities to grow my leadership and what it means to lead from a place of authentic integrity. Okay, now this is the one. Oh, one more. Opportunities for lifelong learning. Boom. Okay, now you guys have a role in this too. Number one, what I want you to do is the count of 3. You shout out, both at home or in the room here, you shout out why you love or why you give to CSL. 1, 2, 3.
Love.
All right, thanks everyone.
Very good, you guys. Almost David Letterman-like. So I wanted to give you an update about where we are financially in terms of the pledges that we've received for 2022, so that you know. We were asking for $200,000 for our general fund and $16,000 to do repairs, maintenance, and renovations. So a total of $216,000. We've raised so far $143,000, so we're short a little bit. Okay, we're short quite a bit. And so we would love to encourage those of you here and also in our virtual audience, because I checked and it would appear that our virtual audience perhaps has not accessed this lovely form that's on our website that you can so easily download, fill out, and send back to us. We'd love you to join the many people who really feel that they're receiving value from being a part of a spiritual community like this. Also, if you're going online, you might want to download the newsletter that we put out once a year that tells you kind of in report form, but also with a lot of heartfelt writing, what we did with your money for the last year. One of our commitments, our core values as a spiritual group, is to be wise stewards of our finances, our land, and globally. And so we appreciate all the donations, whether they're small or large or in between, because they all help us to keep this wonderful community together and growing, allow us to do things like offer live streaming and Zoom classes and things of that sort. So take the time, won't you, to fill out that form. We need them back by tomorrow. The budget team will be meeting very shortly to whittle away the things we can whittle away and come up with some creative solutions if we need to meet that number that I'm talking about. A couple of other things you may want to be aware of. We have a couple of ritual events coming up that are beautiful, and they are meaningful to me anyway, and I hope they will be to you. So the first ritual event that's coming our way is the winter solstice service, and that always happens on the evening of December 21st at 7 p.m. It's going to be a hybrid offering this year, so we will be in person and also live streaming this event, so that we hope many of you can come from wherever you are from. Hello, Alaska. Hello, North Carolina. Hello, California. Hello, Florida. I see you. They come regularly. I don't know if you knew that. Lots of them. But we're going to offer poetry and story and music and an opportunity to really witness the shortest day of the year and the turn of the light, the return of the light. So we hope you'll come, 7 p.m. on the 21st. If you always grew up loving Christmas, which I did, I had the fortune of being raised in a very mellow Christian home. And so I didn't have any battering or bruising from the Bible, but rather sort of fell in love with the person of Jesus as a baby in the manger, and have really retained that love of that innocence and that purity that is spoken of on Christmas Eve here in our candlelighting service. So on the 24th of December, if you'd like to join us either virtually or here in person, 7 p.m., we'll be here offering the traditional carols and maybe some non-traditional things, as well as stories and the opportunity to be together on a very sacred night. And then one last ritual that we've been participating in for many, many years is the World Healing Meditation, which is a global event that's been happening since the 80s. And this event, unfortunately, in our time zone, or maybe fortunately, is at 4 a.m. on the 31st of December. And so this is going to be an in-person event only, although we will have the World Healing Meditation available for you so that you can access it if you can't get here. But we're going to have it in person here in the warmth of our sanctuary and really offer our deepest heartfelt knowing that peace and healing is resourcing itself throughout the world. So you're welcome to join us on the 31st at 4 a.m. for that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else you need to know. I think one of my favorite things that's been happening in this year is that I met a couple, a married couple, who decided to move here. And one of them wants to be a practitioner here with us, and the other has agreed to be our assistant minister. And so next week, you have the opportunity to come and hear Zina Kacha as she speaks to us, while I go and babysit my grandchildren for a week. So I hope you'll come and enjoy it as I do. Right now, I'd like to invite you to stand, and we'll sing our way out. And I want to invite you to do one more thing. Remember that worldly trance forgetting thing with the PT and all that? Before you leave the grounds today, I invite you to take 5 minutes outside. Dan Dietrich cleared the trails in our 7.5 acres of woods. Take a moment, take 5 minutes to be in awe. All right, let's stand.
My eyes are open. week, and we'll see you again soon.